So two for the price of one. We all love two for the price of one, don't we? It's a buy one get one free sort of deal right now. So both having to do with the Game Awards. We got Geoff Keighley tries to trademark the Game Awards, might cause issues for Stuttering Craig's The Real Game Awards show, and then the Game Awards rejects woke titles with official nominations. Is Geoff Keighley feeling the heat from Stuttering Craig's The Real Games Award? The Real Game Awards. Find out on the next exciting episode of Dragon Ball Z. No, aliens. I swear, man, it was like this freaking big. I've never seen a turd so big in my life. Geoff Keighley, whatever, has attempted to trademark the Game Awards. This move could cripple independent creators and smaller outlets that run their own video game awards, like Stuttering Craig of the Side Scrollers and his upcoming The Real Game Awards show. Keighley, whatever, started the Game Awards in 2014. At the time, the event celebrated gamers and the games they loved. In the decade since, it's grown to a corporate outlet for a very bloated game industry. Yeah, I mean, often pushing agendas and towing shill corporate lines in the attempt to net exclusive trailers and announcements from huge studios. What do you know? A person without the best, with no real interest, just kind of like, oh, hey, we're just going to mention all the big names and do this and do that so we get, all the good stuff and all the big names. The Game Award winners are decided by a jury of industry experts, which consists of game journalists from establishment access media outlets like IGN, Polygon, Variety, and PC Gamer, all known to be completely reliable and unbiased sources when it comes to game news and reviews. Especially Polygon, because they're known for their journalistic integrity. However, the public vote only counts for 10% of the results, while the media jury gets 90%. Of course it does. That's why all these freaking crap games end up winning, because whoever votes is the majority, and the people, it's like when you watch award shows and you just keep seeing, like, when it comes to like music, it's just like rap or R&B or whatever, and it wins like every time. It's that's what they want to push for. So, or like the shows like American Idol or America's Got Talent or any of the talent ones, they're always going to go for the attractive singer over the little girl who actually has talent. With being a ventriloquist or whatever the case is, they're always going to go for the singer because it's more marketable. So it's always bias. So I don't know why anyone really even tunes into these things anymore. Show event even features a category called Games for Impact, which essentially celebrates the games that injected the most DEI that year. He described it as recognizing a thought-provoking game with profound pro-social meaning. Game for Impact is one of the show's featured awards. It gets full presentation, acceptance speech, while categories like Best Sports Game only get a passing. Of course, because it's the only time that they know they can go up there and push their agenda and start, talking about politics and how important DEI is in video games and how important representation. And we never thought that 20 years ago we'd be seeing our people like ourselves in video games. We have come such a long way. No, that's the only reason something like that gets so much attention, because then they all can freaking jerk each other off. YouTuber Smash JT brought the issue to light on his official channel, simply titled Geoff Keighley Must Be Stopped. I thought this was a joke, JT said while standing on the shore of Laguna Beach. But the Dorito Pope is actually moving forward with trying to silence any kind of opposition. Has earned his nickname the Dorito Pope during an interview with LevelSave.com back in 2012. The interview featured excessive advertising for Doritos and Mountain Dew, which led gamers to granting him the dubious moniker. Because Doritos and Mountain Dew, because, you know, as if the stereotype isn't already prominent enough. I love how these companies feel the need to cater and direct all their stuff towards gamers. You know, because gamers already get looked at like, oh yeah, they're gaming and their room is filled with Mountain Dew bottles and bags of Doritos. You know, highlighted the night trademark plot on Twitter. Is attempting to trademark game awards with the U.S. Patent Office, meaning no one else will be able to host an award show with the words game award. That's stupid. Worse, he's emailing fans and requesting they file with the USPTO on his behalf. Uh, Trying to attempt to trademark with the office. He said in his initial post, while also featured screenshots of the filing, meaning no one will be able to. Yeah, just read that. The move by him would be a direct threat to Stuttering Craig of Side Scrollers and his Take Games Back initiative. Craig announced plans last spring for a new gaming awards show called the Real Game Awards, where the players vote on winners instead of gaming journalists. Sounds fair enough. Year after year, over and over again, the Game Awards people say that there has to be a real awards show for gamers. Stuttering Craig then in his official announcement back in March. Well, let's do it. If successful in this attempt to patent the Game Awards, he'll be able to bring legal action down on not just Craig, but any other organization that holds an award show with Game Awards in their title or description. Al Pacino, I remember that. I think it wasn't that the same year with oh my god, what's the name? Freaking Kratos. He goes on for like 10 minutes and he just rants about the representation and stuff in video games, and it's like everyone was like, okay, Kratos, we love you, but dude, hurry the hell up. He's like, I never thought that being a black man I'd be standing here. Of course, in his, typical like deeper Kratos sounding voice. But people were like, oh my god, is he? I remember I was watching it online and I think I left for like 4 or 5 minutes and I came back and he was still talking. I'm like, dude, just accept your award and go, please. Like, seriously. You will likely encounter a resistance to filing since Game Awards is such a broad term. The U.S. Patent Office has rules against trademarking common use language. Good. However, many worry that he might use his. Now, they could easily fight it, even if that happened. The people can fight it, and then people will be like, well, they're right. You can't just trademark common words like that. So, uh, it's like the most generic terminology about award. Yeah, yeah. And he's trying to trademark that. It's like with the Fine brothers with the trademarking the reacting name or whatever it was, the reacts to or whatever they did back a few years ago. Yeah, you can't take normal words like that and just like, oh yeah, we're gonna copyright or trademark or whatever because they're so common. That means anytime someone wanted to react to something and they had to put we react to, it's like, well, they can sue you now. And it's so stupid, especially on YouTube, where there are so many channels that react to something. So having that kind of trademark would just be stupid. And he's trying to patent this. And if he gets the right people in charge that look at it, they could potentially approve it. And then anybody trying to say anything about their own Game Awards would be infringing on his copyright. Looks like I need to trademark the word real soon, Craig said in response, so nobody can use the word real ever for anything. And then we have the Game Award rejects woke titles with official nominations. Is Geoff feeling the heat from Stuttering Craig's Real Game Awards? Find out on the next exciting episode of Dragon Ball Z. Um, Geoff's the Game Awards announced nominations today on his YouTube live stream, and it wasn't what the public expected. Oh God. Most assume that his 10th iteration of the annual event, which is typically driven by corporate interests and the legacy games journalist elites, would celebrate failed woke titles like Dragon Age, Veilguard, Concord, Dustborn, and Star Wars Outlaws. However, those games received very little attention, and while fan favorites like Black Myth, Wukong, and Astrobot ruled the day. Aliens. It's possible that about It's possible this about face could be in a response to Stuttering Craig of Side Scrollers launching his own video game award, now dubbed the Real Game Awards. The games mentioned above weren't even up for the Game for Impact award, which celebrates thought-provoking games with profound pro-social meaning. Those four titles, with their heavy-handed identity politics and social messaging, seemed poised to dominate that category, with many expecting at least one to appear for other big awards like Game of the Year, Best Direction, Game Direction, and more. The presentation was, of course, hosted by Keighley, whatever. A man who never backs down from an opportunity to be on camera. Sounds like a narcissist. Despite its listed time for 11:30 a.m. EST, the stream began with a 30-minute countdown. Once he actually appeared, the nominations took only 11 minutes to announce. Big nominees this year were Astrobot, which I heard was actually really good, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which had 7 nominations each, including the coveted Game of the Year. Really? Final Fantasy... Of all the games... Really? Really? There are better games that came out this year than Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Seriously. Like Astrobot, yeah, fully deserves it. But up next was Metaphor Refantasio with 6 nominations. Black Myth Wukong, a wildly popular action game from China, received 4 nominations. This surprised many as the game journalism industry attacked the Chinese game before its release, alleging sexual issues with the developer. Many took this as another sign that things were changing. Also, amazing game. At its peak, it had, wait for it, 2 million players. 2 million. That's like a small city right there. Eyebrows collectively raised during the announcement of the Game of the Year nominees. Listed among them was Elden Ring. Okay. The Shadow of Erdtree, a DLC expansion. Full explosion of DLC can 40 hours. So all its DLC content, I mean, I saw people complaining about that. It's like, it's an expansion, not an actual game. But, I mean, they should have had a separate thing for game expansions or DLC then. Don't lump it in with, like, Game of the Year, because it's not a game. It was an expansion to the game. Or DLC for the game. So, you're going to have that kind of stuff, that just have your own little, like, have a DLC expansion award. Because, like, every game that comes out now seems to have DLC and expansions. So, still was odd to see DLC expansion listed among so many heavy hitters. Uh, Again, like what? What? Like Astrobot, I get. Black Myth, Metaphor, Balatro, Star Wars Outlaws, a much maligned and extremely buggy Ubisoft failure in the galaxy far, far away, only garnered 2 major nominations. Humberly Gonzalez, who plays Kay Vess, absolutely gorgeous woman, and it's a shame to see what they did to her, was nominated for Best Performance. Really? I mean, sure. Women made up 4 out of the 5 nominations. Of course they did. In this category for 2024, the game was also nominated for Best Action. And this is the Geoff one. Yeah, yeah. No, of all the action adventures that came out this year, Star Wars Outlaws was also nominated as what? He really is pandering to all these fucking people, isn't he? Because this game was terrible. I don't know why anyone would look at it and be like, "Oh yeah, that's a great action adventure, game of the year worthy." Outlaws also got a nod for best accessibility features. Veilguard was also mentioned for the same category. This was only the only nomination for Veilguard, an agenda driven. Yep, we all know I've done so many videos already about that stupid game, which failed to break 100,000. Yeah, its peak had 89,000. Concord, a live service game. Uh-huh. Dustborn. Yeah, yeah. 2 terrible games. One gets shut down and removed from store shelves and online, and the other is where you weaponize cancel culture and canceling and triggering and bullying. We're set in like a place where the evil right has taken over, authoritarian, all that, and they have to flee their homeland to a safe place. Ended the broadcast by urging players to cast their votes for the award winners. However, that's not going to do much in the long run. Yeah, yeah. When you have bigger names, the journalists and all that, and they're 90% of it. This isn't like a real like election or voting where every count matters. No, it's clear. It's whoever the journalists vote for. So it's like, why even bother voting? You know, the Game Awards nomination and winners are decided primarily by the committees made up of legacy access media journalists from outlets like IGN, Polygon, Variety. While the public voters win, yeah, like we just saw this in the last article. The unbalanced power dynamic is what led Stuttering Craig to launch his own award show, dubbed the Real Game Awards. Yeah, year after year, it's the same routine. And I grow so weary of the sound of screams. And I, Jack, the Pumpkin King, have grown so tired of the same old thing. No, yeah, we read all this. Um, but yeah, the fact that yeah, come on, go back up. The fact that they're kind of rejecting the titles that most would think that would, most that would, think that would win, like Dragon Age and all that are kind of being rejected. But the fact is, even if they're not winning, they're still up. Like Star Wars Outlaws, it was still up for nomination. A lot of these terrible games, even if they didn't win, they were still nominated. They were still brought up. Like, how, of all the games that came out this year, why are the heavy ideological bullcrap written ones the ones that are brought up instead of the actual good games that were out? Like, it makes no sense. It just proves that the player's voice doesn't matter, and those are all the games selected by places like Polygon and Kotaku, and this is why we do need a real game award show that is made and created by the fans, voted these games being voted for by the fans, and just leaving the completely biased gaming journalists out of it because they're always going to vote for the most, you know, not even good games. Well, this had a bunch of diversity in it. Like I said, how the hell was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or Star Wars Outlaws? How was that even there? Like I heard so many people not like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Star Wars Outlaws, no one bought it. Like I think like a million copies were sold. No one liked the game, so how was it even nominated for anything? It just shows the freaking bias that these games have, or these people have, because strong, powerful woman in this game, or diversity. But that's all award shows now. Like I said, you look at music awards, and it's just like all rap and R&B because that's the agenda they want to push. You could have a million other songs, but the one mumble rapper that freaking, had a song come out, it's like suddenly he wins despite the numerous amounts of songs that came out that were actually good. Same thing with movies or TV shows. You'll have a show that was actually good, but then you'll have something like, say, Rings of Power that has like forced crap in it, and that will end up winning, despite the fact that there were shows several times better than that. So it's always biased. It's always driven to one side of the political aisle. And that's why award shows now are just fucking stupid. They're stupid. There's no point. Because we know who's going to win before we even go in. We know who's going to win. But I like the idea of, you know, Greg kind of making a award show for gamers by gamers, because that's what we need. We need that with movies and TV and all that, because Hollywood just, they've ruined those. Like no one watches the Golden Globes or the Emmys, because it's all one big circle jerk. They get up there and like, oh my god, this year was a great year for representation. Oh, and Orange Man bad. It's just one big circle jerk. So, but anyway, that's gonna do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.